Hello, welcome. You're tuned to the Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show. Best hour of trackside television presented by the TAB. Stephen Hunt and I in studio, missing one member of the usual trio, Steve, but we might find him shortly. But before we do, let's have a little look back. What about Champions Day at Ellerslie? What a day of racing it was.
What a day, still coming down from the high 6 days ago, Thaddeus. Look, I thought Alabama Lass really set the tone early in the program. Race 3 from memory when she was spectacular, winning the Group 3 King's Plate, and her performance rating backed that up, what she performed on the eye. A 103 performance rating, which happens to be the highest performance rating from any horse, any age, any distance in New Zealand thus far this season, Alabama Lass.
There's been some performances too, to be fair.
There's been a number of horses that have peaked at 100 and above, but she sits right at the top with that 103 on Saturday. When you're putting 5 lengths off Crescetti, you got to stand up. You got to stand up because we know he's an elite horse. But look, she set the tone. A number of high-profile / elite horses stood up to beating expectations. The Al Vencedors, Damask Rose, Willie Do It, Taradali in the last. And that was reflected on the market and the betting. A lot of punters were rewarded on Saturday afternoon and plenty of highlights. I thought one of the biggest wins on the day was the track. I thought the track played superb. Clearly the best I've seen it operate since Ellerslie 2.0. You could win from back, forward, wide, inner. It was just superb. Yeah, tempos played a role in some races, in particular the Sunline Vase for the fillies in race 2, but that happens anywhere, any track.
Yeah, of course.
So, no, I thought big thumbs up for Ellerslie. I know it's been hard work in the last 12 to 18 months, but full credit to them in a day that was spectacular.
And Damask Rose winning the first ever NZBQ and a ticket to the Golden Eagle
Golden
as
Eagle,
well now.
Was it 10 mil? So, not surprised she's turned out now. She's still got to chase that elusive Group 1 just purely because she's a filly and she'll end up being a broodmare in years to come. But that can come later on. But at the moment, she's flying and she's going to only be 4 once, so you might as well chase that Golden Eagle at the back end of spring.
Okay, let's go and find the other half of the Leg Up duo and a couple of leagueies at heart, both of them. They're live from Mount Smart Stadium. Good morning, gentlemen, on the dawn of a Warriors Manly game, and you'll probably be able to run us through a few tips as well while you're there. Good morning.
Yes, good morning team. Welcome to GoWa Media Stadium here, Mount Smart, as we gear up for their clash, of course, 8 o'clock tonight against the Manly Sea Eagles. Cannot wait. I love being at this ground. It is something special. Looking forward to tonight, Paulie. Really looking forward to it. Of course, the team was spoken about last weekend, and that is a massive high. We want another high. Come here tonight at 8 o'clock tonight.
Exactly. If you like the high at Ellerslie last Saturday, be here at Go Media Stadium tonight because you'll get another one. It's electric here, and we're the only ones here. The atmosphere is just absolutely sensational. Look, if we go back 366 days, these two teams met here, and they played out a 22-all draw, even after Golden Point, and that was with two of the best proponents of the field goal on the field in SJ and DCE. I don't think we're going to see a draw tonight, but I do think we'll see quite a few points.
Yeah, look, let's be honest, Manly were very good last week against the Cowboys. They were electric, in fact, and also a homecoming for Jazz Tauranga as well here against his old club. So there's some great matchups, and I'm sure we're all looking towards a number of different betting options. I guess the key thing for the Warriors tonight is make sure that they can get their tackling done, and they're up for a big challenge tonight against the Manly Sea Eagles. A very important game, even though it's round 2 off the back of their disappointing performance out of Vegas.
Yeah, right about that, BP. Paul, we will come back to you before we get to BP's Maiden of the Week. Sunday Sweet Time, we don't want to forget about that. What have you found us to get stuck into on Sunday with the Leg Up Sunday Sweet?
This Sunday we're heading to Wingatui. The code is TLU Soda, TLU-SODA. And we head to race 6, number 8, The Hangover. So just enter that code first and then head to race 6. Place your fixed odds win bet on number 8, The Hangover. And if The Hangover doesn't win but finishes second or third, you'll get your money back up to $20 as bonus cash. That's the first 200 customers, so don't wait.
Okay, extremely apt name of the horse with you boys up there at the Warriors game on a Friday. Could be one of those coming your way tomorrow morning. BP, Maiden of the Week time. What have you found for this with your Maiden of the Week?
You're right, Thad might need a soda, a TLU soda. But let's have a look at our Maiden of the Week. And I don't normally go 2-year-olds, but I feel as though this is a chance to look at a 2-year-old or 2-year-olds that can be good horses to look out for next season. Tajana wins the race. Hostility runs second. Both of these horses are going to be very good 3-year-olds. Hostility's covered the world, has probably gone up to win the race, and Tajana's just sat in behind them off the back of 2 very good runs. Remember, Tajana nearly beat Return to Conquer, first up of asking out of Ellerslie, and then things went wrong next time out behind Lucy in the Sky when finishing into 4th position. This time round she had the better draw, she had the race day experience on Hostility. Hostility $1.6 million ready to run purchase, second favourite for the Kiwi next year. I do believe we're going to see a fair bit from these horses next season, so really happy to identify that 2-year-old race as our maiden of the week, team.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of interest around Hostility on the day, Steve. And yeah, see that Kiwi market out for next year. The trading team have done well there. But what about Tajana in that race and maybe some other horses that you've seen during the week?
Yeah, I thought Tajana was very good. A horse that profiles as a really top-line filly when she turns 3. So anything she's doing as a 2-year-old is a bonus. I suppose it all depends how she pulls up between... when was it, Wednesday and round about now, whether she heads to Trentham and challenges a Group 1 over 1,400 metres. It'd be tempting because it's just on, on the close horizon for her. But look, I thought there were some really good performances overall on the day. I thought Flanagan winning the fillies and mares 1,400 metres later in the day. I think it was race 6 from memory. Not often do they break 123 over 1,400 metres. On my score, only a 7 times that's occurred on the last 104 races at that distance and on that track, and none of those 7 performances when they've been able to break 123 has been achieved by a maidener. So that bodes well for Flanagan. And Gossip, who was a close-up second, a 3-year-old filly who's got a bit of upside, is definitely one to follow. And then there was that big margin back to 3rd.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Let's have a look at some of the races we want to have this weekend. Obviously, Tauranga, the main focus, Steve. Talk about weather and track at the Tauranga surface this weekend.
Yeah, so the rail's out 2 metres from the 1,000 to the 400, then true in the remainder. I think you've got to go back a fair few months to when it profiled in that space. Currently a soft 6, fine weather between now and race day, so hopefully we're looking for that upgrade, pushing towards that good track later on in the afternoon. Look, often it's a day, Tauranga, where it plays up and in early on, but I think it will play for that way for the majority of race day. I think lanes 1, 2 and 3 will be the positive channel for jockeys, but again, tempo is going to come down to a fair few races. We'll touch about that in a lot of our features. But in general, being up on speed, early stages of the program at Tauranga is no knock.
Yeah, often the way, isn't it, there? Let's start with race number 7 on the card. It's the Ultimate Mazda Japan Trophy, Group 2 over the 1,600 metres. A very good field, I thought, assembled here, Steve.
You're headed by Waitek, dropping back in class. He's competed in 4 Group 1s in his last 4 starts. He drops back in class, as I say, to set weights and penalties for the Tauranga Japan Trophy. And he heads the market at 580, open 4.8, so just out of turn fractionally. Herbert, decent go here. Did open double figures, now trading at $8. Aegon at 550 in that second line. Navigator's been bouncing between 650 and 7. What You Wish For at 950, again a similar profile to Herbert, started double figures. Outside that, Leroy Brown has been bouncing between 14 and 12, now trading 10 I see. Skyman 11 out of click to 12. Wild Knight, interesting runner back from Australia at $12, and then best of the rest has to be a winner who opened at 13 out to 19, which is a touch surprising on the personal note.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. First race we want to have a look at, BP, is the Otaki Māori Weight for Age, the Sport Nation Otaki Māori Weight for Age. Here is Waitek and Aegon. Waitek, our favourite. And which Aegon are we going to get tomorrow, Pops?
Well, you could get the Aegon that was very good in set weights and penalties race behind Provence, of course, when finishing 4th in a Thornton Mile. He looks well placed under the weight scale, doesn't he? And if he performs to that level, he is right up to this. Waitek in this race, finishing into 6th position, up to 1,600 metres. We saw him back at that distance, hadn't been at that trip since a 3-year-old, and his runs over 12 and 1,400 metres suggested he was ready for a mile. Of course, he ran a very good 4th 2 starts ago in the BCD Group Sprint when he caught the eye with what he did in that race. And this is just that step back to Group 2 company. He's got barrier number 12. We know that he's going to be back and running, and he needs that speed on up front. And look, potentially there's going to be a bit of pressure from one horse at least, anyway, from Leroy Brown. But a couple of good runs there from Waitack most notably, and Agon maybe just that horse with the back in that set weights and penalties can be a real big assist come into this race on the weekend, Paul.
Firstly, to Agon, that run in behind Provence, well, that's been franked now with Provence then coming out on Champions Day and winning big time. Waitack, as Stephen mentioned earlier, has been running around with Group 1 company in behind the likes of Al Vencedor, Crescetti, Babylon Berlin. So in this sort of field, you'd expect Waitack to be handyish and will be very hard to beat, I think, if he gets a run to suit.
Right, well, let's have a look at the Wairere Falls race out of Matamata, and if you're on Navigator here, potentially just look away for a brief moment. It's looking for the IRT passing lane at this point, or potentially the Waverley passing lane that we've seen with the false rail in operation there. It didn't happen. It wasn't there at Matamata, and he is very unlucky. He's climbing over horses. Who wasn't unlucky was Herbert. He was 3 wide. He had to do it tough for a fair bit of this race, and he was too good for his opposition. So as much as he was that unlucky horse, he was the runner that was in form coming off the back of the Dennis Wheeler earth-moving Taranaki Cup, and he was very strong through the line.
He certainly was, and he deserved the win as well, Herbert. He was so good. I'm a wee bit late to the party. Those in the CD haven't been. They've been back in on the last 3 starts, and they've been rewarded handsomely. He looked very, very good. As you say, strong through the line. And it's hard to look away. He comes into this race with some very, very good form. As you say, the unluckiest run of, well, that weekend was Navigator. Just had nowhere to go, had a whole heap of gas in the tank. And, well, look, I don't think we're going to see the same sort of run tomorrow. So Navigator is certainly in the numbers, but you can't look away from Herbert. Herbert was super good.
It was, and I think as we come back to you guys, a bit of pressure in this race is going to be the key, and Leroy Brown certainly brings that. Will there be any other horses that can inject the speed? But we know he loves to run and keep on running, Leroy Brown.
He'll be a step up in distance, class for Leroy Brown, but he loves the Tauranga surface, Steve, and I think he's winner of 3 of his last 4, so can't knock him.
No, you can't. I thought it was well rated in terms of the ride here from Ulrika, who has been riding this horse in previous starts. I think she just overdid it 2 starts ago at Matamata, but this start, most recent, for Leroy Brown, it was like I say, she rated the horse accordingly to the 600, and rivals found it very hard to finish over the top of him, and he got the job done. He's a beautiful son of Ace High. He'll catch the eye on track. That performance rating happens to be the second best performance rating in terms of last start performances from horses heading into the Japan Trophy, so that's a positive. I think they just ride him the same way. He's unbeaten at Tauranga. He's had the 3 starts there for 3 wins, which it can be at times a horse for course, Tauranga. So, again, that's a positive. Drawn barrier 3. Ulrika knows the horse now. I think she's had 3 or 4 rides on this individual, so she's getting used to this horse, because I don't think he's the hardest or easiest horse, should I say, to ride, because he can overdo it in the first half of the race. So, look, he takes bad luck out of the equation. I'm liking him as a nice, genuine each-way play.
Okay, I want to stay with you for this last replay, because you've had an opinion of this horse for quite some time. This is the Kaimai Stakes and What You Wish For, and this is the What You Wish For that you've been waiting to see, I think.
I think the key about this day was a couple of things. One was the race shape. It was a glorified trial, so to speak. You see there, big flashing red light to the 600. They've sprinted home under 34, which made it mission impossible for those horses in that neutral spot or worse in midfield. He drew a gate that day. Craig Grills, he was able to sit on her and utilise that gate, show some intent, put the horse in the first 3 or 4, a little bit of cover, and obviously worked off that race shape that absolutely suited. Different setup here, drops back and trip. That was 2,000 metres in the Kaimai Stakes at Matamata. Drops back to the 1,600 metres, has drawn a wide gate from barrier 10, so I'm just not sure what Craig Grills is going to do from that draw. Does he show some intent, hopefully try and position the horse in a similar profile to last start? I'm not sure, because if you're going to gamble that, there's a possibility that he could be caught wide on the mare.
Just a quick word on Wild Night back from Australia. I see it's been a little bit easy, $9.50 to $12. A word on Wild Night, because he'd be good enough.
He's one of the more intriguing runners on the day, Wild Knight. Obviously, he comes back from that short, sharp Australian campaign, which you'd have to say was a fail. But you go back earlier this season, on this course, he was able to beat La Creek, and that performance rating would clearly stand up in this race. So it's a bit of a trust card around him. He's drawn barrier 7. He's a horse that can show speed in the first furlong or two, put himself in the first half a dozen with a little bit of cover, as which we've seen this campaign. Warren Kennedy's is the riding. So there's some positives around the horse, but yeah, like I say, you've got to play that trust card from what you saw earlier in the season.
Okay, let's head back north. Gentlemen, what have we missed in the Japan Trophy this year? And give us your selections in the race and betting strategy.
Well, I certainly touched on a little bit in that first video. I think Aegon, as much as it's been a very long time since he's last won a race, that he's in that right sort of race, that he can be part of this. So I respect him greatly when you consider he's at 55 kilos and so is Leroy Brown. And Leroy Brown is in the right sort of form and is on the way up. And Aegon is not at his peak of his powers, but he still ran such a good race in the Thorndon Mile behind Provence. He's come out and won a Group 1 race last weekend. So I have big respect for Aegon. Anything else for you?
Yeah, the second behind Meaningful Star, 3 starts back for Aegon, also sort of tweaks my interest as well. If the real Aegon turns up, obviously, we're a big chance. I looked down the page, I thought Quality Time, who finished second in behind Herbert at Mata, out at around $19 and $5 a top 3. It's a nice little each way go, to be fair, but winning form is winning. If you're winning, it's all about momentum for mine, and that's what Herbert's got at the moment. So yeah.
You're with Herbert?
I'm with Herbert.
All right. I'm going to go with Navigator. I'm going to have another shot at the stumps with Navigator. Yes, it's not a case of you were unlucky last time out that you're just going to get it all back next time to the races. And a couple of things need to go his way, but he gets the strong speed in the race. If he's presented and he gets to roll into the race at the right time, I keep going back to his effort in the Telegraph. So I'll go with Navigator as my top selection in the race, and I'm having a same race multi. Navigator and Aegon, top 3, top 4, flip them around, something like that. So that's what we're thinking, team.
Yeah, braver than me, BP, with Aegon. Yeah, I can't go again. I love the horse, Aegon. But yeah, Herbert, winner of the Dennis Wheeler Earth Movers Taranaki Cup. So the form's good, Steve. What's your play in the race and final thoughts here? Do you want to have a word on Waitak as well before we move on?
Well, I think Waitak and a few of these horses that are drawn wide have brought to my reason for backing Leroy Brown a nice each way price. So he was $14 yesterday. I think he's into 10 or 11s now, but I still think that represents value. I think he clearly starts in single figures just purely because he's going to take bad luck out of the equation. He'll jump, he can go even speed, and he's unbeaten at Tauranga, 3 from 3, and he loves the mile. So I think he's a superb bet on his performance rating at Mata last start, and the fact that Waitak is drawn wide. He's just a low percentage play. They'll go even tempo, but it's a big field. He'll have to be giving plenty of lengths to some main rivals here, including the one I've got on top. And that's a similar profile to Navigator. I think he'll have to go back. They'll take their medicine, Massa, and go back to that last third. And that's going to be problematic for that horse around Tauranga. Aegon just doesn't have that knockout blow. Even though this, if he's ever going to win another race before he retires, this is it. There's no doubt about it. Set weights and penalties suits him because he's yet to win a race, which fits into that profile where you get penalised at the set weight. So, look, from barrier 5, he'll have every opportunity to, but that's just price sensitive. I just can't take him at $5.50. He's got to drift on race day. So just a few red flags on a key rivals here. So I'm just leaning to the horse that's on the up.
Okay, no surprise, and a very, very tough race. The three gents have come up with 3 different selections in the Ultimate Mazda Japan Trophy Group 2 over the mile. Time to catch up with our friends at BGP with the best of BGP.
This is the best of BGP. The lads bookended Champions Day on Saturday. We're back out to the regions this weekend. Let's see if we can take down the bookies. Good to see you again, Luke. How good was Champions Day, mate? That was an outstanding day of racing, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty special to be a part of that and to see so many good horses winning on the day. What was your biggest highlight of the day?
Oh, Tardelli to win, I reckon.
Well, you did tip us into that and it won very well on the day, but I do think there might be a few other horse owners that would suggest that their horse was the best on the day. But anyway, we've got to get straight into this week because the Rackman's got one at Pukekohe on Friday in race number 7. Who rocks the house? A horse out of the O'Sullivan Scott barn. This horse has been knocking on the door. I think there's been a bit of money early on as well, but you're getting around the $7 mark. The Rackman's very keen on this to kick off the weekend.
Yeah, I like that bet from the Rackman, mate. That horse was very unlucky last start, and $7.50 looks like very good value. I'm going to take some of those winnings and I'm going to put it into my best bet at Tauranga on Saturday. Race number 2, a horse called Flash Effect. This horse was finishing very well in behind Midnight Edition and I'm All In last start, who have got some good form around our 3-year-olds this season. Back in October, it was only 2 lengths off Kitty Flash, Kiwi Skyhawk, and beat Sought After Home too. So I think this horse looks like a pretty decent horse, and that form coming into this should really stack up. Bonus bet race as well, so I think we can have a crack confidently.
Well, I'm going to go straight into race number 3, Sorgatani. Don't ask me how to spell it, but I know how to punt it. And we're getting around $10 on the weekend. Now, this horse was very, very average last start. I went and read the steward's report and couldn't find too much in there. But the horse had been going pretty well prior to that. It drops back to 1,400 metres where it's run top 4 at all 4 of its start at the 1,400. I think the good track won't be a concern either. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse can knock this field off at $10.
Is Sorgatani a pastor?
I actually think it's Genghis Khan's daughter-in-law.
Wow, okay, all right. For Ted's best bet this weekend, he is going to Tauranga race 7, a horse called Leroy Brown. This is a bit of a surprise from Ted. It's at very good value, but this horse just keeps on getting to the front and winning. Ted has said this is a big step up for the horse, but its time over 1,600 metres last start was very good. It's in great form, and Ted thinks it's definitely worth a throw at the stumps at the Japan Trophy on Saturday afternoon.
Geez, we're all going a little bit rough this week. I like it, including the GOAT. Now, he's going to a Whanganui in race number 4, a horse called Dubai's Portiki. Now, this horse has been pretty average, to say the least, burning punters a few times. But the GOAT's pretty happy that with a significant gear change, this horse could get the job done at $15. Now, the sectionals were still fairly strong last start, and one last crack for this horse at $15. I'll be having something each way.
And for the blessed bet this weekend, Luke, we are going to take Ted's best bet, Leroy Brown, in the Japan Trophy for a top 4 finish. We've got it boosted out to $4. This horse is unbeaten at Tauranga, so top 4 seems like a very good bet for a horse that goes to the front and is very hard to run down. Ted's really, really keen on having a crack at this horse, so let's follow him into it. Top 4, gamble responsibly if you're having a crack at that blessed bet and any of the rest of the lads. Luke, thanks very much, mate.
Well, we've got $4 shots, we've got $14 shots, we've got $10 shots, we've got blessed bets. It's all bloody happening this weekend. We'd love to know from you what you're backing this weekend. What is your best bet? Let us know below. If you're having a bet this weekend, do it responsibly, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, gentlemen from BGP. The blessed bet, Stephen, Leroy Brown, top four. $4.
That is a massive price because he will be single figures in terms of starting price on the afternoon.
Okay, so we take our we take the BG blessed bet. That is obviously Leroy Brown top 4 at $4. The leg up People's Boost Yoldi, which we'll have a little bit of a look at in a minute, going to be boosted. That'll be available just after 11 a.m. on the Friday. The leg up People's Boost, and they continue to perform exceedingly well. The leg up People's Boost and the blessed bet. Do you think Luke would know that Sorgatani was Genghis Khan's daughter-in-law? You don't think that sort of thing. You either know it or you don't, surely.
That was script.
Race number 5 on the cards. The next race we want to have a look at is the Triton Pacific Owens Plate. The open handicap over the $1,200, Stephen. Here is Yoldi.
Headed by Yoldi, last seen in the Karaka 3-year-old million when he finished midfield, $3.10, off a shorter $2.90, so just a little bit soft / lukewarm, you could say. The best bet runner sits with the second favourite here in Grand Gallo. Open $5 now, $3.90. It's one of these other horses we spoke about it with Leroy Brown, who's impeccable record at Tauranga. Pukuru Gold first up at $5. Insatiable with the big weight at $5.50. Miss Rocket barrier 1 draws to get a decent run at $6 off a shorten of $5.50. Pink and County at $12, and best of the rest is Powell, possibly a pace influencer at $14. But overall summary, best bet runner sits at number 5 in Grand Gallo.
Okay. The leg up People's Boost is Yoldi BP. Here's Yoldi winning in Auckland Guineas on Boxing Day.
Yeah, Yoldi's one of those horses that I guess profiled like a runner that was heading towards the NZB Kiwi, and just as they continued to push him out further in distance, maybe he just wasn't that true blue sort of 1600 metre horse. And look, he was very good through the Christmas period, was Yaldi. We've seen a very good trial from him as well, Paul. He's a good horse who's competed in strong races this summer, and he's a worthy favourite.
I think you're right. At this stage of his career, maybe the 1400, 1500 just wasn't quite his, I guess, piece of cake. Back to 6 furlongs, I think now we're right in his wheelhouse, and we'll get to see him. And I think coming off that trial where he looked very, very good, I understand why the bookies have made him favourite, and I can understand why the early money isn't quite there for him yet.
Here is that trial and really booms home late. It was an encouraging effort if you wanted to be on Yaldi team off the back of what we've seen last season and that trial out of Taupo.
I see the heavy machinery starting up there at Mount Smart. Gents, race replay, Steve. Pukuru Gold is the next one I want to have a look at. Impeccable record, fresh. This is the trial at Taupo for Pukuru Gold. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, really good trial. She's had a couple of trials, or he should I say, if we were a girl. He's had a couple of trials leading in and hasn't been asked to do much, to say the least. He's just gone along about it in his own steam. He's a horse that finds those neutral spots, and you see here in the blue with the white hat, just never gets clear air, and he's got plenty to offer if he was let loose. But look, he finished outside the top 3, obviously, doesn't have a crack until probably the last 50, 75, where you see he runs into 4th position. As you say, he hasn't been seen since June, but he's had a couple of trials leading, and I think he'll be up to the mark to run a race here over the shorter distance. The question mark is all his form thus far has been on rain-affected going, but you'd say just on his action pedigree and the stable electing to bring him back this early in the autumn, that he should get away with it at least first up.
Okay. It's going to be an interesting run at Pukuru Gold. Paul, I will come back to you for Miss Rocket. This was a good win at Ellerslie last start, beating Perfect Dividends in the race. And another one for Stephen Marsh. So got to be a player with the way Stephen's going, Miss Rocket.
Oh boy, if there was anyone happier than Stephen Marsh last Saturday, I defy you right now. But as you say, this win at Ellerslie was super. I think George Rook was aboard that day and just settled in behind, came out. And I really like the way that Miss Rocket really started to stretch out over that last sort of 100, 150 metres and got to Perfect Dividends in the end. And I think the further the race went on, she was just going to increase that winning distance. And we'll get a pointer to how Miss Rocket might go tomorrow, because Perfect Dividends is going around in an earlier race. So I'd keep an eye out for Perfect Dividends.
Yes.
If Perfect Dividends races up to expectations, then that just points just a wee bit more towards Miss Rocket.
Yep, I concur. I think the runner is drawn well to be able to use that barrier speed that she does have. She can either take a position, Sam spread aboard, or do they take a spot just away to something else, want to have a go and press on. But either way, she's in the right spot from that point with how it maps out. Yep, it's a step up for sure. That was a rating 65 victory, and she goes straight into an open handicap. But small field, drawn well, informed mare, they're ticks in the right boxes.
No doubt. The last race replay, Steve, I do want to look at is the big shortener in the race. Grand Gallo. Look, it's a horse that's generally always well backed. It's been well backed again, but this is the replay of it winning at Ellerslie on Boxing Day.
Yeah, this was first up as well, so she was ready to go. There was money on her this day, and punters got rewarded. She got the right run, right split, roughly around the 250, and she was too good. Short margin, got the job done at 75 level. Then she backed it up, but again, her performance was a little bit below par in terms of betting expectation at Ellerslie over the 1400 metres in the Penman assignment, which was 2 weeks prior to Champions Day. And again, she was a horse that landed on speed that day, but just didn't quite give her total effort in the last furlong to be a winning chance. So, look, you'd say naturally she's finding a similar field here. George Rook, we have plenty of options from Barrier 2. We've spoken about that track reference where she's won she's had 3 starts with 2 wins and a placing, which is as good as any in this race. But at the moment, I almost feel like she's found her mark. I think this is a pretty competitive field, and she opened at $5, which yes might have been a touch high, but I think she probably now starts to ease. If you're not on now, you're your best weighting on race day. I think the move's been made by possibly some sharp operators or punters that have got in early. But once this book starts to balance on race day, I can see it easing from the current price trading. Purely because she can be hot and cold. She can be hot and cold. She can chuck in the odd run that disappoints on the eye. So you just got to take a little bit of trust.
Okay, I know we've got a couple of Grand Gallo fans at Mount Smart Stadium, BP. You probably want to have a word on Grand Gallo, and then you can both give us your strategies or betting strategies into this race.
Yeah, well, I'm on early, so I'm happy with Grand Gallo's price. That was on the opening line at $5.
Is that the sharp money that they were talking about, BP?
I'm really keen to be with her. I think she's a nice horse. A couple of things went against her in that race last time out to the races against Penman. Nice draw. Yep, I respect Yaldi massively, and I think there's a great chance to maybe play a same race monkey around Yaldi as a cover. But what about for you?
I'm on Grand Gallo as well. Spanish for big rooster. And I think they'll be going cock-a-doodle-doo at around, 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So I'm on Grand Gallo as well. The big point for me is the early money. That suggests to me Grand Gallo is ready to go, and she's going to give us a sight on Saturday.
All right, a couple of big roosters here are on Grand Gallo. What about for you? What's Stephen got for us?
There'll be some big roosters running around there later on. There's no doubt about that. It's good information, Paul. That's why we love you. Betting strategy in the Open 1200, Steve.
No bet at this stage, but I'm really keen on Yaldi. If he drifts maybe 1 or 2 more turns, he's a bet for me. He's just sitting on that almost stage around that 310, 320. If he can get close to 350. That's my line where I dig in on Yaldi. I think if you show a little bit of positive from the first field, the first 100, 150 metres, what I like, the blinkers are on, and that indicates to me that they're not going out there just for a run around. Yeah. He'll be looking to get a bit of confidence up from what he lost on Karaka Million Night. Put him in the race. Powell will probably naturally come across from the wide gate in a small field. I think Yaldi can come across, sit outside lead. Miss Roquette gets the trail. Grand Gallo will have options from barrier 2. But Yaldi, if you take away that performance last start on and off track, and the distance probably was against him as well, over 1,600 metres, dropping back to 1,200, his previous ratings would get the job done on Saturday afternoon.
Okay. Paul, no bet for Steve and race number 5 on the card. Any comment?
Fair dinkum. Give him enough.
Righto, the gentleman up there with the big rooster Grand Gallo, Stephen Hunt, waiting for that price around Yaldi in the Open 1200, race number 5 on the card, Tauranga.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you. That's the bottom line.
Lance O'Sullivan Award time for another week. BP, you would have had a host you could have chosen from during the week. There was some tremendous jockeyship amongst the ranks there right across the week, obviously highlighted by Champions Day, but who did you settle on to get that Lance O'Sullivan Award this week?
Well, I will say this. I think the best losing ride on Champions Day certainly belongs to Michael McNabb. He gave La Creek a super steer to be able to try and undo our Vencedor. So I believe that is... he might get maybe a small flat white on Saturday, but I think the one man that does get the large cappuccino with an extra shot is this man, and that is Blake Shin for his ride. Where else could you go? Because Damas Rose was unbelievable in how she won this race, and aided by an incredible ride from Blake Shin. Every horse in front of Blake Shin, yes, rolled away from the rail, but that was his last option. It was his best option to try and win the race. Hug the rail, hug the plastic, and then right at home. And boy, some great shots post-race that we've seen from Tiako throughout the week, with the team watching on and cheering on Damas Rose. And why wouldn't you, with a $3.5 million race? So not only has Blake Shin taken out our biggest race in the country, but he's also got a little cherry on top by winning the Lance O'Sullivan Award.
Super ride. Super ride. Absolutely super, BP. You just look at it, you still can't believe it.
No, you can't. You can't believe it. Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, what a ride. I think, the $3.5 million stake of the Kiwis, one thing, gents, but to win a Lance O'Sullivan Award, as you say, talk about a cherry on top. Great performance from Damas Rose, and cool as a cucumber, Blake Shin, but what do you expect?
Yeah, and again, a jockey that was confident in how the track was playing. that if he just bided his time, he could go for that inner run. It wasn't inferior ground, because if he came wide, I don't think the horse wins. He just would have had to cover too much ground. So he had confidence in his horse, which was the main thing, but also his own ability, Blake, which, you know, he's elite. He's one of our best jockeys in Australasia. There's one or two that sit around him, J-Mac and whatnot, but he's as good as you get, and that's why he's heading towards Hong Kong most weekends, back to Australia, here, etc. So he's a jockey in hot demand, but he got the job done. He relied on the ability of the horse.
You're also saying it's sort of a rap on the track as well, aren't you? Because, I mean, he knew that he could go to the inside and still be
100%,
competitive,
because
right?
if we'd seen, half a dozen races which unfolded prior to that, and there was that slight inferior on the inside, which we've seen previously possibly at Ellerslie, to do with rain and whatnot. But if that occurred, then he would have had to come to the outer or buy his luck and try and find a channel down the centre of the home straight, which probably doesn't eventuate. So, yeah, he had the confidence in the horse, as I say, the track, his ability, and yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking about that when I was looking down at my page there, just completely off topic. The leg up people's boost is Yoldi, so we're going to get north of 310, aren't we? That's the other thing to remember.
Not me, but
well, not you, of course, but just for the you can't take it, sadly. Okay, race number 4 on the card, the Dre Swap Contractors 3-year-old.
Anyway, isn't it?
Not if it gets north of 350, Paulie. Not if
open
it,
your ears.
Yeah, it's race 4. Love Poem back in business here.
Love Poem, yes, she returns after last seeing her in the Group 1 1,000 guineas down at Riccarton in the early stages of November. $2.45. Now, that's the original price the lads put up on Wednesday, so yet to budge, but there is money for her. I'm all in. Clearly the best bet runner to beat, Love Poem, $5 into $4.40. I'm nuts at $5.50. Sister Ping first up here for Chad Ormsby at a $5.50 quote. Again, that's the original price. Altari has been bouncing between $13 and $15, but currently a losing liability for the tab. Texas Hold'em at $23. You've got a second division here, which includes Jade Dragon, who was an impressive first up / maiden winner, Pam Gerard, at the $23 quote. So, look, overall summary, don't get put off early stages around Love Poem. There is support there, even though her price hasn't firmed. But clearly the best back runner to beat her is number 1, I'm All In.
Okay, it's probably a little bit of a worry in the fact that it is the stablemate, so this market will take some watching, gents, but she's a quality filly resuming. BP, here's her 4th in the 1,000 guineas.
Yes, that's right. And of course, in front of her, you've got Captured by Love, and you've also got Alabama Lass right there. And this was when she was on the backup. She backed up her great run by running second in the 2,000 guineas behind Savaglee. So her performances over Cup Week and Christchurch were outstanding for a 3-year-old filly. And she brought the right form heading down there with a lot of confidence. She's had a good break. She's had 119 days between runs since this effort here out of Riccarton. And I did like her trial as well. I thought her trial was right on point because the trial was 6 of 8. You might see that on your form guides, but a very hard-held 6 to the line with Michael McNabb doing the riding. He was happy just to sit where he was in a position, and we can have a look at it now. Actually, was in a 1-by-1 spot just in behind them. Campionessa was in front of him. Of course, Damas Rose comes up the inside, and here he's got a lot of horse. She goes to the line like she's ready to go first up. I like her chances on the weekend, Paul. A couple of reasons for it. She won over 1,200 metres first up during her spring campaign. She was 160 days off then. She's got a nice long break, 119 days into Saturday. And her stablemate is I'm All In, who's drawn just a couple inside, who likes to go forward. Really hoping she can tag that horse over and get in position where she's close to the speed.
She'll get on the train and just track in. Yes, 100%. I agree with you there. There's been money for the stablemate, and I can understand why. I'm All In. That was a great run last time out behind Midnight Edition. I like the way that he's been going about his business. The start, 3 starts back, the run 3 starts back was very, very good as well. Once again, running around in behind the likes of Ardalio, Pukatiro. This was a very, very good run at Pukekohe in behind Midnight Edition. Just really started to stretch out as well over the final stages of the race. And the fact that there's been a wee bit of money on from a stable that doesn't mind to put $1 down or two, is also a nice little indicator for me.
Yep. I like them both, and I think they potentially can map correctly if that's how it pans out with how it looks on paper, team anyway. But Love Poem, good trial. Interested to see what Stephen's got to say about Love Poem.
Yeah, it was a great trial, Steve.
Was, yeah. Look, she's coming up super. Look, I tend to just work off trials a little bit on face value. I don't want to get too deep into them. Look, she's a good horse, so you expect her to trial well. She's a Group 1 performer. But yeah, look, on those signs, she's come back as well as ever. And yeah, she just needs a pinch of luck from her draw, and she's going to be clearly the horse to beat in this field. And like I say, if she can go close to replicating those figures in the spring, she could put a space job on Saturday.
Okay, let's have a look at I Am Nuts though, Steve. This is the Tiaka runner. Craig Grills will be aboard come Saturday. Here it is breaking Maiden's last time out at Te Araha.
He got the right run in transit here, just came off the speed, got the split at the top of the straight, and just a little bit alarmed about the red numbers here in terms to the 600 last 600 and class rating. Obviously to the 600 last 600, that's based off open class. You don't want to knock it massively, but the class rating was nothing flash to the fact that she has to step up against group class 3-year-olds. So look, she's drawn barrier 8. I think Craig Grills will, or should I say he's drawn barrier 8. So Craig Grills will, I wouldn't say have options from there.
Yeah.
Could get quite sticky
Tricky.
for a horse that probably wants to sit in the first half of the field. So he might have to do some early work. But again, just off those numbers, he probably has to improve a touch. I'd like to see him another couple of runs under his belt before he's taking on the likes of Love Poem.
Okay, what about the other horse in the market, Stephen? That's Sister Ping. Now, you say you don't get too in-depth in trials. He is running third at the Cambridge trials, but did break Maiden's last preparation. Looks like it has some upside.
Yeah, 100%. Another 3-year-old filly here. Again, Cambridge synthetic, just sat in that neutral slot. Ran home stronger than most over the 950 metres. Chattahoochee just doing all the work up front and winning. We know he's a class galloper and is heading towards the Easter in a few weeks' time. But look, again, a horse that probably profiles in the second half of the field. Drawn barrier 10, I think Vinnie Colgan, again, will have to just elect to go back. In particular, the horse's first up. I don't think they want a gut buster first up in a preparation that might see this filly contest a Cambridge Breeders later in the campaign. So I think they'll just go back. They'll rely on tempo. 550, I think just on my numbers, that's got to drift. Late betting will be your friend purely on this horse because she is first up, but I'd suggest that you just keep the powder dry and wait for that 550 to drift on Saturday, because I think overall the market will gravitate towards I'm All In, which we've already seen the first 48 hours, but in particular the favourite in Love Poem.
Okay, gents, we'll come back to you. Who have we missed? It looks like I just saw Paul's bets flow across the ticker there under the screen. Looked like we might have missed something. Gentlemen, Betty, last thoughts and betting summation here in the 3-year-old.
Oh, what do you got, Paulie?
Yeah, well, I thought, let's think outside the square, maybe for one of these races. And I'm trying to look for something a wee bit further down the page, double digits. So I went with Pam Gerard and Jade Dragon. I did like the win last time out. Look, this is a big step up against this quality of opposition. But I saw enough in that win to suggest that she may be able to just step up a wee bit. So, look, in each way go, currently Jade Dragon is $23 and I think around $5.50 a top 3. Just in case things don't quite go to plan for the runners at the top of the market, I thought Jade Dragon just for a little each way go.
If I was looking elsewhere, I thought Altari, runner number 2. He's a 3-year-old gelded son of Savabeel. He's had a couple of really good runs through the Ellerslie early part of the summer, beaten behind Checkmate, for instance, beaten 5 lengths behind that horse. It was very good through those couple of early runs as well. Low draw, presents well, fresh up. So just might be one of those horses you can entertain at the back end of a trifecta first 4 same race multi, currently sitting at $13. Okay, so Paulie's found some value. I've gone with Love Poem. I just like what she did last season. She's run the right numbers. Her trial was good, so I'm happy to be on her as a win investment.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pretty keen on Love Poem as well, Steve.
I am. Look, the whole race revolves around her and her price, but look, 119 days off the scene. We've seen those trials. Take what you want out of them, but she's a high-class filly. Her ratings in the spring is the measuring stick in this race, and Look, it will need a good steer from Matt Cartwright. I get that from barrier 9. But the market is offering a fair price to accept the challenge. So I reckon she starts in the red on Saturday afternoon. So I'm happy to snap up the 245.
Okay, both BP and Steve very keen on Love Poem there. And race number 4 in the card at Tauranga. Paulie finding some value there for us in Jade Dragon each way. Okay, time to take a pop at Pops. We pick a viewer's $100 betting strategy. They get to take on one Brendan Popplewell's $100 betting strategy. If they can beat the master, they keep the money. This week, it is Tane Cross taking you on, BP. We're going to have a look at what Tane has, and he's focusing in on the Friday meeting, so you'll know where you sit, BP, on Saturday morning with Tane Cross. He's got a $50 top 3 multi here, race 1, Poetic Justice, race 3, Bacino, and race 4, Haughty. That's the $50 multi there. Top 3 multi, and he's got a $50 same race multi in race number 6 at Pukekohe. Esperanza to win. Sister Sugar to run top 4. I see Esperanza a first starter for the Murray Ritchie stable, so obviously Tane has got a little bit of oil out of the Ritchie Murray stable around Esperanza. That's Tane Cross, BP. That's his $100 betting strategy. What have you got to take him down?
Well, Tane, I actually got a little multi going myself on those Friday races with Poetic Justice and Haughty as well. So we're on the same page, brother. Let's have a look at my bets for Saturday. I'm looking towards a same race multi and a straight out bet. So the multi is Perfect Dividends to win race number 2 and Love Poem to win race 4. $35 multi on those 2 runners. A same race multi in race 6, King of the North, top 3, and Enright, top 3, sits at around sort of $3. And I'm going to have $20 each way on Navigator in race 7 of the day. It's not a leaf blower, it's something else, and that's what you'll get here out of Mount Smart. But anyway, that's how take a pop at Pops.
Yeah, they've obviously got the, sounds like the heavy machinery out there. They're doing some drilling there at Mount Smart. I hope everything's okay. Good luck to Tane Cross as he takes a pop at Pops this weekend. Foreplay time for another week where we take a $100 bonus cash 4-leg multi with our 4 good things of the weekend. And we try and get it home for one lucky viewer. Now head to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the question. Your favourite Japan Trophy winner this week. Now that'll have some interesting horses bob up, I would have thought. Here's the $100 Foreplay multi BP. We'll start with you. What have you found?
I'm going to go with Perfect Dividends. I went very close to making this my bet of the day, actually. Perfect Dividends, though, top 2. Love's running second at the moment. Drawn 1 in race 2. $1.65 for that runner for Bob Vance and Sam Spratt. You, Paul?
I'm going to Tauranga as well. Race 5 for me, and I love the big rooster. Number 5, Grand Gallo, for a top 3 finish. Currently around $1.60.
I'll go to Whanganui, where I'll be presenting with Sweens come Saturday afternoon. Coulthard, halfway through the program, race 6, a 3-year-old mile. I loved what I saw last start on the eye. Backed up on the clock, top 3, $1.40.
Okay, I'm going to Whanganui. I've been following the money around Discovery Bar. See, it hasn't got a jockey, so maybe I'm hoping for a late scratching so I don't let the side down. But I think Discovery Bay over the 13.40 there in Whanganui, race number 8. Top 4 at $1.80. That'll boost it to $586.07 for that Foreplay bet. Head to the TAB Facebook page. We want your favourite Japan Trophy winner. You could be in to win that $586.07. Okay, best bet time for another week, gents. But before we have a look forward at what we've got, as always, we need to review our work.
I really do like El Vencedor. He's in a great piece of form at the moment.
El Vencedor and Lark Creek in a head bobber. El Vencedor just got there. EV wins the Bone Crusher New Zealand Stakes.
I'll go to the following race, the Auckland Cup over 2 miles, the Aussie Raider Tajanis.
And Tajanis is coming right through the centre. Trav, Tajanis, RB and interpretation. Trav has got there from Tajan.
I'm going to go to the Sistema. And I love the look of the favourite here, Return to Conquer.
Return to Conquer in front. Landlock's going to get very close. You're real close at the line. But I think he's just got their return to conquer.
Thad Taylor, he's also got one for us. He likes This Time Girl coming up in race number 2.
This Time Girl continues to make ground with eye candy. It's Island Life. Welcome back to NZ McD at the line. Island Life won it. This Time Girl second.
If you could bet top 2, Steve, well, you can bet top 2, of course. Doesn't help me for a bet of the weekend, though. Around This Time Girl. You and I, just a couple of seconds here. I mean, to Janice.
I still haven't got over that, to Janice. And the fact that BP got rewarded with Trav as well, just...
Yeah. Let's go up to a couple of winners, boys, and you can give us your bets of the weekend. And Trav, we'll give you a little wrap as well, BP. You did find that, and I was on trackside on Saturday. You handed out Trav to the viewers and got the job done, and then you booted in a best bet as well.
Yeah, Trav was delicious. I will say that. It was quite an incredible result. I'll let you in a little secret. I actually lost my voice for the next 3 days purely because I actually gave it a pretty good yell down the straight, and I know that Jane Ivel and Emily Murphy and Lethanis also are very aware of that as well. So it was a pretty big yahoo on the line with Trav. So it was good. It was an unbelievable win. A crazy training performance actually. Just quickly touch on that performance by that runner, because Raymond Connors, as we know, he's the king of the former hill at Ellerslie. He won with our Jonty when he rode that horse in a Great Northern Steeplechase. He won with Hypnotise and Wise Men Say, and here he is now, winning one of our best flat races in the country with Trav. And I think if that had been trained by anybody else, that horse would have gone into that race around a $10 mark. But purely because it was trained by Raymond Connors, he's paid crazy overs. His run in the Wellington Cup was out of this world, and it somehow went round at 20s. But anyway, that was last week. You're only as good as your last. So what have we got for this week, Paul Maoate?
I'm going to head to Tauranga again. Race number 2 for mine, and I love the look of the Holly Wynyard trained Colorado Silver. Look, back after about 3 or 4 months last time out, I thought she'll take a lot of improvement out of that. Look, she does have to race against the likes of Perfect Dividends, but I saw enough in that first up run to think that she'll be right in it at the end. So Colorado Silver for mine, currently paying around the $5 mark.
Nice, like it. I'm going to go to Love Poem. I think the price is still there, as Stephen mentioned, the $2.45 price. And I guess the barrow draw is the big thing that puts a lot of people off. But if she can jump cleanly with the stablemate and get that tag across and get into a position where she is maybe outside leader, her form from the spring is very, very good. So I'm happy to be with Love Poem. She won first up over 1,200 metres. She beat We Found Love and Osteria. If you go back and find the Osteria Maiden, you'll find, I think, horses that ran 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th. All came out and won next time. So she beat some good horses in her maiden victory over 1,200 metres, and happy to side with her coming up into this one out of Tauranga first up, Love Poem.
Am I seeing a double up in my script here, Stephen Hunt? Tell us your best bet of the weekend.
Well, what BP's just mentioned around Love Poem, very keen on her. Look, I think she's probably one of the better horses going around tomorrow at Tauranga. She hits a 1,200 metre 3-year-old event where there's some up-and-comers, last start maiden winners, but they'll have to lift considerably to match what she's been producing, not just in the 1,000 guineas, but also a couple other runs around the springtime as well. So, yeah, she'll need a little bit of good luck from that draw. A decent steer from Matt Cartwright, which I mentioned earlier, but I think at that price, it's worth the gamble at $2.45, because if she gets the right run, I wouldn't be surprised if she puts a margin on this field.
Okay, that's exciting to see Love Poem back at the races after that. 4th in the 1,000 guineas. I've gone to the last at Tauranga. I'm waiting to the last. I'm going with a horse that's been running particularly well without breaking through, and that is Monday Melody for the O'Sullivan Scott team. Yes, it has to carry the 60 kgs. Yes, it does have Barrier 11, but it also has Craig Grills, and I'm hoping by that time of the day at Tauranga, the middle of the track won't be the worst place to be. It's been knocking on the door. The 5th 2 starts ago at Ellerslie in particular was very, very good indeed, and the 3rd last time out also good. I think it's due a win is Monday Melody. I'd suggest to any viewers out there, maybe top 2 is the way to go with my best bets of the weekend. But I think Monday Melody? Moving Melody. Am I calling it the wrong thing? No, Monday Melody. I know there is a moving Melody, and that's the Richardson stable. This is Monday Melody, O'Sullivan Scott. I've confused myself. Gents, we'll come back to you, Paul. promos time. What do we got to look forward to this weekend?
First of all, don't forget to head to the promo page and check out all of the new and exciting promos that the promo team put out every single week. Where do we head to first? We've got a bonus back and bonus cash on selected races at Tauranga, across the ditch at Rosehill and at Caulfield. We've got an odd surge on every single race at Wanganui. Do we mention the Sunday Sweet again, BP?
I think we do.
We probably should.
Yeah. I can tell you the code. It's TLU
Soda. And it's down at Wingatui on number 8 in race 6, the Hangover. Just enter the code, then place a fixed odds win bet on number 8, the Hangover. And if the Hangover finishes second or third, you'll get your money back up to $20 as bonus cash. Don't wait, first 200 customers.
Yeah, okay, boys. And you might have a few sodas this afternoon or this evening. You both be going to the game, I presume. I would have hoped you'll both be in attendance tonight.
Yeah, I will be. I've got Pukekohe to worry about first of all, but yes, I will be heading along to the game. Paul, are you coming?
Yep, I'll be working here, annoying customers. So if you see me, be nice.
Is that what they call it, working?
And as we said at the top, it's
no bet.
But yeah, look, it's an important game. It's a very important game for the Warriors. In the second game of the season to be declaring it. It's not a must-win, but it's an important game for the fans because the fans were very disappointed with what they saw in Las Vegas. There was a lot of people that went to go and support them first of all, and they didn't deliver a very good game at all. So let's hope tactically we see that change and we just get that result on the park. So yeah, we're looking and hoping that we see that right performance here tonight.
I have no doubt we'll see an improved performance with the likes of Mitch Barnett and James Fisher-Harris up front. They'll set the platform, and I'm sure we'll see a much improved offence from the halves in tonight's game. I'm really looking forward to it. Try scorer?
I'm Luke Metcalf. I think if he can get his game right in terms of how they play, their shape, I'm hoping Luke Metcalf can find the try line. You?
I'll look out wide. RTS or Charles Nickel-Clockstead.
All right, it's us, team.
Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy your evening. We'll catch up with you, BP, at Pukekohe if you are watching on Friday morning. What a life those two have, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Trekking the country. We're just trapped away here in the Wellington studio. Well, look at the Mount Smart Stadium. What a life, what a life. So you might look around if you're heading out to the ground. Go and check out Paul Maoate or try and find him and annoy him. He'll be annoying you. We know that without doubt. Okay, Steve, thanks as always. What are your plans tomorrow?
Head up to Whanganui, nice 8-race program, couple open handicaps, a sprint and a 2,040 metre trip. I think a lot of these horses will be pushing towards a Manawatu Cup, etc. in a couple of weeks' time. A few of them might push towards Trentham Size Day, which is in a couple of weeks. This time next week, we're prepping towards the Oaks. Like a Lucy, she's roughly around $1.50. Yeah. Did we see anything out of the Sunline Vase that could be a contender?
No.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
But yeah, look, this time girl.
Yeah, this time girl, my bet of the day. Of course, what am I talking about?
She can run top 3.
Okay. Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you to Paul and BP who joined us from Mount Smart Stadium. And thank you to you for joining us on the leg up. We'll see you in 7 days' time.